Blitz!
He's Pat, I'm Travis, and you're watching The Blitz on NWFvarsity.com. Get you guys set for Week 3 of Friday Night Football, and we'll start some big games on the docket this week. You've got Freeport going on the road, Fort Walton Beach also kind of getting their first test of the season. Niceville, of course, they're back on the road for a big game at Pine Forest. And then you have our game of the week, which we'll get to a little bit later. We'll start Rocky Bayou Christian hosting Mandarin Charter. This was one of the closer games last year, I do believe, for Rocky Bayou. I'm still going to go with Mandarin. I just think this year's Rocky Bayou team is a little bit thinner on numbers than even a year ago.
It's crazy they could get thinner.
Yeah, it really is. And now they're going to be without Andrew Bino, who, of course, was hurt. Unfortunately, he's okay now. But I'm going to go with Mandarin to come into Destin Middle and get a win.
Yeah, I picked Mandarin as well. I want to see Rocky kind of needs to prove themselves a little bit to me. I don't think they put a point on the board yet this year. So until they do that, I don't think they're going to get picked from me. They need to win one first.
Right. It's going to be a tough road.
Yeah.
Talking about teams that are going to be going on the road, Baker is one of those schools. They're going to be going to Holmes County, ranked number 5 in all of Class 1A. I'm going to go with Holmes County for a couple of reasons. Holmes County is, top ranked, and it's also going to be at their place. I think Baker's having a really good year so far, but Holmes County, I think, will get the better of them this Friday.
Yeah, I took Holmes County as well, just simply because they're at home, and Baker hasn't really been tested like this yet. They've played well, against the opponents they've played, but I think they're going to really have to step their game up. It's going to be a pretty big step up, and I think it's going to be a huge leap, actually, they'd have to play, and we'll see how it goes, but I picked against them.
Yeah, and Baker's been playing well. You mentioned that defense with Corey Harper running the ball for them along with Veda Moore. But yeah, going to go with Holmes County.
Tough to go, though, from Rocky Bayou to that.
Yeah, it's a big leap.
Yeah, it's number 5 in 1A. It's tough to do. So.
All right, sticking with 1A, Freeport, defending champions of their district. They're going on the road at Blountstown. Blountstown, and speaking with some of the coaches in that district, that's a team that they've pegged to be one of the contenders for that district. I'm going to go with Freeport. I just think Jim Anderson, that group, he was talking all preseason about how Gabe Moore, most athletic quarterback they've had. And it's early in the season, you don't know if it's coach speak or not, but he had a great week last week. Yeah, I just did the athlete of the week. I wrote that up. I think he had 200 rushing and 200 passing, or like 193 and 197, and he had 4 total touchdowns. Right. Those are nice numbers. So I saw him play earlier in the year against Walton, and he looked really, really good. Just good quarterback, good high school quarterback. So I picked them too, but Blountstown's pretty good, man. Yes. They lost to the number 5 team we were just talking about, Holmes County. They lost to them 15-6 in the first game of the year. Yep. So that's the number 5 team in the state. So that's pretty tough. So this is where playing a big school maybe can help Freeport.
Yeah,
playing at Fort Walton Beach.
No, definitely.
Really going toe to toe with them will help.
Oh, definitely.
So we're both picking Freeport there. Moving up to District 2 6A, we'll start with Choctawhatchee. They're coming off of a close loss to Godby a week ago. They're still at home. They're welcoming Washington, and this is a Washington team that I think Choctaw will beat. As long as Choctaw eliminates silly penalties and turnovers, kind of sticks to their game, I think Choctaw can move to 2-1 this week.
Yeah, I picked Choctaw as well, just because basically great defense, but they need some more production from their offense again. It's 9 points last week, I believe it was. Yep. They definitely need some more production, but. I know Washington was one of those teams that started the year preseason ranked pretty decently, but they're gonna. I think they struggled against. They got beat pretty good by Navarre. Yep. I'm not sure what they did last week, but they. I really think Choctaw can get the best of them. Yep. So I think they will.
Sticking with 2-6A Crestview, going on the road, Jacksonville Bowls. I'm going to go with Bowls. Crestview. They got that first win a week ago. 32-0 win, impressive win. Yeah, it was a Tyler Henderson show. But I think on the road, Bowls will be a little bit too much.
Yeah, absolutely. No offense to Crestview, I'd take Bowls over anyone in the state at this point. Yeah. They went down to Delray and beat American Heritage last week. So I think playing Bowls this week in Jacksonville, I think it's definitely. I think it's kind of a no-brainer.
Bit of a buzzsaw there.
Yeah.
Fort Walton Beach, they're one of the 2-0 teams that we have in the area, but this is their first real test, I think you can say. I think it's fair to say, no disrespect to any of their previous opponents. Yeah. But they're going to Milton, which is always a really tough place to play. You ask any coach in the area, Milton, one of the tougher places to go and get a win. Having said all that, I'm going to pick Fort Walton Beach. I think with Ryan Thompson, the way he looked last week, improved from week 1. If they can continue that upward trend, I think Fort Walton Beach can go on the road and get a big win.
I picked Milton just because I know Milton beat Crestview at Milton, and I think Crestview's a pretty good team. They beat them in double overtime, 20-14, and it's just like they kept going on about Fort Walton Beach. I talked to Coach Owens yesterday, and he just kept going on about how difficult a place to play it is.
Yeah.
And it's different for them because they play on the field. They play on the field turf at Fort Walton Beach and whatnot. And he's like, it's a high arch natural turf field and whatnot. And not only that, but the crowd is nuts.
Right.
And so I mean, they proved that with a big win over Crestview to start the season. So.
Yeah. And Fort Walton Beach has taken some probably better teams on paper over there and lost. So we'll see. I'm going with the underdog. Another big game, local team going on the road, Niceville traveling to Pine Forest. I think if you'd asked me this one last week, with Niceville coming off that big win over Pace, I said Niceville. But with Andrew Mitchell, the quarterback, he's highly doubtful, probably not going to play.
Yeah.
So you go with Ashton Hooker, who did a great job against Pace.
Great job.
But to ask him to do it for 4 quarters against a team like Pine Forest with that speed, it's a different animal. I'm going to go with Pine Forest just for the very fact that you have that inexperience at quarterback, but then also Pine Forest is really good.
Number 6 and 6A.
Yeah. So they're doing something right. I'm going to go with Pine Forest. I think it'll be a close game, though.
Yeah. I picked Pine Forest as well. I think they're really going to throw the kitchen sink, I think, at Ashton Hooker this week. And he's going to, if Andrew Mitchell doesn't play, which I'm not sure if he is or not, but if he doesn't play, Ashton Hooker they're gonna bring the house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's gonna see everything that they have to offer. And Pine Forest is a talented team, and if they do that, anyone's in trouble.
Yeah.
Starter, backup, whatever.
It'll be interesting too to see how that Niceville defense holds up against Pine Forest's offense.
Yeah.
It's strength versus strength there. That'll bring us to our game of the week, and this week it is a rivalry, Pace at Navarre. This was a game just last year. Chad Lashley kind of half jokingly said it wasn't much of a rivalry because Navarre hadn't beaten Pace in a regular season game. Well, that changed last year. Last year Navarre, a big 31-21 road win at Pace. So this year, changed the scene. It's at Bennett C. Russell. How do you like this one?
I picked Navarre. I like them in this. I was over there yesterday. Talked to Coach Lashley. They seem pretty. He joked that he's like, I feel like he's been there 7 years total, 4 as a head coach, and he's like, I feel like I've played them 14 times because they used to play them in the preseason. And so he's like, we're really familiar with them, and he's like, we didn't see much for on film. Niceville, they run a spread offense as well, so they saw what worked, and it's just get the ball in space. That's what they're going to try and do tomorrow. Especially look out for Dwayne Carter to try and get the ball in his hands a lot. They've been having a little trouble running the ball, having a little trouble stopping the run. So I think both teams are going to try and it's going to be a ground game. Both teams are going to try and establish that run. Who can stop the run the best, I think, is going to win that game. And
we mentioned Navarre trying to get the ball in space. That's kind of their MO all season long. But you have noticed, the running game hasn't been there. You have to have some semblance of a ground game. I'm going to go with Navarre. I just think maybe they can find the right combination of pass run. But it'll be an emotional game. I'm going to go with Navarre though at home to get the win.
I picked them as well. It was funny. They lost to the number 4 team in the state on the road with a chance to tie it on the goal line on 4th and 1 last week. And so they're a great team. You know what I mean? They're probably should be, I think, one of the top teams in the state in that area right there. And they're a little under the radar right now with a 1-1 record, but I think I definitely picked them. I think they'll pull it out.
Okay. Well, that'll do it for our picks this week. Be sure you tune back in Friday night, Saturday morning to check out the Blitz recap, if you will. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.